Welcome back. All right, as promised, a video on the Boston Bruins. This is a team that people have been predicting the downfall of for years. They have defied gravity. They've gone out. They've had incredible runs. Pasternak's put up amazing numbers. Somehow last season, they survived the loss of Bergeron and Krejci. The losses of Bergeron and Krejci, I think, have finally hit them this year. And the idea of going out and getting Elias Lindholm, it has not paid off to this point. So I wanted to look at the 4-6-1 start and put it into perspective. Boston's usually a team that starts really well. So they were 9-1-1 to start the season last year. They ended up 7th overall. They lost in the second round against Florida in 6 games. The previous year, of course, a 10-1 start. They finished 1st overall, set all kinds of records, and then lost in the first round in 7 games against Florida, a series where they had a 3-1 lead. 2021-2022, they start the season 6-5. They were 10th overall. They lost in the first round again, this time against Carolina, also in 7 games. 2020-2021, they started the season 8-1-2. They finished 10th overall. They lost in the second round against the Islanders in 6 games. 2019-2020, again, they start 8-1-2. They finish 1st overall again. They lose in the second round against Tampa Bay, 4-1. 2018-2019, 6-3-2 start. They finished 3rd overall, and they got all the way to the Stanley Cup final. They lost in 7 games against St. Louis. Really, when it's a Game 7, I don't really have a lot of optimism as a Bruins fan in general. You look at their Game 7 track record over the years. 2016-2017, they start, 2017-2018, they start the season 5-3-3, 4th overall. At the end of the season, they were out in the second round, and it was 5 games against Tampa Bay again. So Tampa Bay's a bad matchup for Boston. 2016-2017, they start the season 6-5. They were 13th overall that season. They lost in the first round against Ottawa. And that was their return to the playoffs after having missed the playoffs the 2 previous seasons. But if we look at their record the seasons they missed the playoffs, the record was still better than what they've got right now. So they were 6-4-1 to start the 15-16 season. They actually finished 5th overall, but missed the playoffs. 2014-2015, they were 5-6 to start the season. Still a better record than their current 4-6-1 by 1 point. They finished 17th overall that season, no playoffs. So for the Boston Bruins, it's been a while since they missed the playoffs, but right now they're on track to do so again. But that being said, Pastrnak, I think, has been good. 11 games, 6 goals, 4 assists, 10 points. Just not at the level he was scoring last year or the year before. Marchand, 11 games, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. Everybody slows down as they get older. I think that's what we've seen with Marchand a little bit. Kastelik, 11 games, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. Kepke, 11 games, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. And as good of a story as their good start has been, the reality is that if they're 2 of your top 4 scorers, that's problematic. Beecher, 11 games, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. Elias Lindholm, 11 games, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points as well. Lindholm had that strong first few games, has been very quiet recently. Pavel Zacha, 11 games, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points. Charlie Coyle, 11 games, 1 goal. And Morgan Geekie, who had the best season of his career last year, this year he's only played the 9 games out of the 11, and he's had 1 assist. So this is part of the reason why I wanted to make this video, because all everybody just focuses on is Swayman. I'm not saying Swayman's been great, but he's not the problem. 3-4-1 record, 884 save percentage. Korpisalo 1-2 with an 871 save percentage. But that defense has not been good. The forwards, they're not getting enough opportunities, and we'll get into that part too when we get into the advanced side of things. So during this era, there's been 3 different coaches. You had Claude Julien, who was the coach from 2008 till 2017. Bruce Cassidy, who was coach from 2017 till 2022. I wasn't happy when he was fired. Jim Montgomery, he's been the coach since then until now. I like Jim Montgomery. I think he's a very good coach. I don't put this record on him either. I don't. Now, their upcoming schedule is not that daunting, to be honest. I got their next 9 games on the board. They could turn it around. Starting with tomorrow, they're in Philadelphia. Now, Philadelphia shut them out 2-0 in a recent matchup, but they should be better than Philadelphia, right? You look at their lineups, they should be able to outwork and outchance Philadelphia. The word should's doing a lot of lifting there. Then they come back home. They play against the Kraken the next day, so on Sunday. Kraken, up and down season for them. If you don't bring your A game, they can torch you. Then they go to Toronto on Tuesday. They have a pretty good record against Toronto. And that's just reality. They have a pretty good record against Toronto. I wouldn't be surprised to see them win that. I think right now Toronto's the better team of the two, but again, it's that whole psychological side of things too. Then they come back home to play against Calgary on Thursday. Calgary had a really strong start. They've kind of come back to earth since then. Then they're at home on Saturday against Ottawa. That should be a pretty feisty matchup against a division rival. And I think Boston, again, should be able to win that, right? Then they go to St. Louis on Tuesday the 12th. They are away in Dallas on Thursday the 14th, and they play at home against St. Louis on the 16th. St. Louis is currently 5-6. At times they look really good, but without Robert Thomas, it's clearly hurt them. Dallas, pretty darn good team. Contending team. Going to be tough to win that one. And then the last game on the board is at home on Monday, the 18th of November against Columbus. So in terms of the next 9 games, they're not playing like the Rangers. They're not playing Vegas. They're not playing Winnipeg. They're not playing Tampa. They're not playing the Rangers. They're not playing the top teams, right? But there's still going to be some challenges because Boston's trying to fight their way from the bottom. And it's been a long time since they've been in the bottom at this point in the season, right? Now, looking at the advanced stats, and I wanted to get into this, and I went to Money Puck for this. They're 29th in expected goals, meaning that they're just not playing well. So expected goals, they sit at 44.44%, which when you're winning, you can look and go, man, how are we winning when we're low in expected goals? But when you're losing, that's an issue. That means you're just not playing very well as a team right now. Goals for above expected, it's a negative number, negative 1.5. So that's 1.5 goals that they should have got, they didn't. Goals against above expected, negative 1.82. Thinking about how rough a start to the season it's been, that number's not awful. And so, again, while people may want to, well, we're going to harp on the goaltender, but it's not the goaltender. Yes, he got his big contract, he got that. It doesn't automatically mean he's the problem. One thing I've noticed with hockey fans is that if a guy gets a contract and then that team struggles, they go, it's his contract that caused those troubles. I don't think that's really how it works when you've got a roster of 23 players. The blame kind of has to be spread around a little bit. Their shooting percentage is 21st in the league at 8.04%. That's got to improve. The team save percentage at 91.23% is actually 14th in the NHL. So again, they're a little bit above mid when it comes to the combined save percentage as a team. And then the shooting percentage, 804. So, and I know people are going to be like, well, how does that work? It's Money Puck's system. I'm just throwing Money Puck's numbers on the board. And so, yeah, it does tell you that the Boston Bruins need to score more, which is what I've been saying in reviews and trying to point out to people. They're just not getting goals. So if you're playing against Boston right now, what are you doing? Shut down Pasta. Who else is going to hurt you? Kepke? Kastelik? Marchand's not getting the goals. Zaka's certainly not getting goals. Lindholm's not getting to the net. Coyle's not getting goals. I could go through the entire roster and say, nope, 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 nope. So all you have to do is shut down Pasternak. And then the great thing is that when a team does that, then people are like, see, Pasta's not playing well enough. All the team has to do is key on him, and you're probably going to have a good night against the Boston Bruins. So, current goals for per game, they're 25th in the league at 2.64. Goals against per game, they're 28th at 3.82. Those numbers just, it's not even viable to look at playoffs when you're 25th in one and 28th in the other. Their power play is 25th in the league at 14.9%. Makes sense. They're not scoring goals. Their power play is going to struggle. And their penalty kill is 20th in the league at 76%. So defensively, penalty kill-wise, they're mildly better than they are on the power play, which might be a bit of a surprise, but I mean, this is a team that I think it is interesting because we've talked for a long time about how Boston's the team that's probably going to fall off. I've even picked Boston as the team that's going to fall off because I look at their roster and go, without Bergeron, without Krejci. But after last year when they defied gravity, I thought, well, maybe. But I did have some concerns. Now, in terms of shots, they're getting 26.5 shots per game. They're allowing 29.9. And when you look at the scoring by period, they're not good with the short change. They've scored 9 and allowed 15 in the first period. They've scored 4 and allowed 12 in the third period. When it's the long change in the second period, they've scored 14 and allowed 14. And in overtime, they've scored twice and allowed 1. So no idea what that is. I don't know if that's a trend that's going to continue where they're better with the long change than the short change. But that's where we're at right now. They've scored 13 and allowed 27 combined when it's the first or third period. So that is a major issue for this team. Now, looking at contracts, and this is really something you have to do if you want to talk about Don Sweeney a little bit. The Lindholm contract is not aging well already. $7.75 million cap hit until 2031. So it's not like it's a tradable contract. They are on the hook for that contract for its length. Charlie Coyle, $5.25 million contract until 2026. And again, he just has the one goal. Pavel Zacha, $4.75 million contract till 2027. He just has the one goal so far. Zadorov, $5 million cap hit till 2030. So one problem is their penalty kill is below average. Zadorov's spending a lot of time in the box. And that's the reality of it. That's part of Nikita Zadorov's game. You're probably going to have to kill off penalties that he takes, and it's probably going to be on the regular, probably almost once per game. If you have a really good penalty kill, it's not a big deal. If you're a good team, it's probably not a big deal either. But when your team's struggling, it magnifies everything, including how many times a guy goes to the penalty box. Swayman's $8.25 million cap hit till 2032. Everybody's going to dump on it. We know goalies are voodoo, and we know Swayman could be a very good goaltender in the NHL. And this has been kind of a mess. This has been a mess all off-season, and so I'm not that surprised they've got off to the start that they have. I don't get mad watching them either. Like, between Vancouver and Boston right now, Vancouver I watch and I get angry because I know they're better than that. I haven't been mad watching Boston because I don't know that they are better than that. I don't know that this is going to be turned around because they don't have a lot of cap space. They're paying almost $13 million to Lindholm and Zadorov. Lindholm was the third line center in Vancouver, and Zadorov, while he had a really good run in Vancouver, you have to consider everything around a player, especially a defenseman who it looked like had quite the run in Vancouver after a good run in Calgary, but not anywhere near where he was in Vancouver. And I don't think Calgary fans would have been happy with Zadorov for 6 years at $5 million per season either. I think questions would have been asked about Craig Conroy if he had signed Zadorov to that kind of an extension. So I do think it's fair to ask questions about Don Sweeney at this point. For Boston fans who've been exuberant about the idea of Don Sweeney at some point being replaced by somebody else, this is the only way that happens, is that a team has expectations, they don't meet those expectations, and if the team doesn't, blame the coach. I really don't think Jim Montgomery's job is or should be in any kind of danger. I don't think this is on Montgomery. I don't think it's Montgomery's fault. Zacha can't score, Coyle can't score, etc., etc., etc. I think he's been given a team that I think at best is maybe third in their division. I don't think they're a top two team anymore. And it gets really, really difficult to get this team over the finish line with, the changes that have been made, but even if you don't add Lindholm and Zadorov, then you'd have all the cap space. Just think about all the cap space. But anyways, I guess cap space isn't necessarily a big deal to general managers. I've never understood that. I still don't understand it. Oh, look, we magically got exactly to the number for the cap ceiling. Ta-da! Okay, cool. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. The key thing being, will the Boston Bruins turn it around, yes or no? My vote right now would be probably not. I think the way this team is built is kind of broken, and I think it's going to be really easy for people to blame Swayman when the reality is they can't score, their center spot is not good, and the blue line, they're not getting the points that they need from McAvoy, who's a good defensive defenseman, but he should be scoring points as well. And they're just not getting what they need. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit like and subscribe in the event you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.